Good chilly morning. Clear skies. One of the first frosts of the season, which means time to get the snowblower going. This is actually customers was dropped off to get it running, which of course means the battery was dead, so that's in the shop charging. Took that out yesterday. We've got a John Deere 425, complete with cab, lights, heat, snowblower, snow blade, and deck. Look at this thing. Your own little heater, front clip, and look at this. Even came with a history, service manuals. Not bad. I did notice right away it has an external fill neck that goes from the outside and goes in here, and this wasn't hooked up. This was just flopping around in here, so all the dirt from whatever has probably gone in there and plugged it. But we'll see if it's got any fuel, see if it turns over, see if I can get it to start. We just need to get it running. He's got another guy that's gonna go through the whole thing, but it was one of those auction purchases. Hey, can I put that here, see if you can get it going so that I can then take it and get it all prettied up. So if you noticed, we're not too big on pretty here, but more function. So I'm gonna grab a battery, we'll see if it turns over. Probably just grab a boat tank because someone said it didn't get fuel. So, and then on to the next thing for this beautiful day. So keep it in mind, I know absolutely nothing about this tractor. They brought it here on a trailer. We unloaded it with the skid steer. Propped it here about 4 months ago. And now it's getting cold, so everybody gets worried. I get a lot of phone calls as soon as the furnace needs to turn on. Mainly because their furnace doesn't work, but also, hey, we need the snow blower, we need the plow. You know, everything starts to wake up when things get cold. I will say it's a good indicator that there is some sort of dielectric spray on here. It's the red kind, so it's probably just battery terminal protector, which means you got some kind of maintenance. When you get these batteries, there's a bunch of numbers here and months. Pop off the year and the month that the battery is, so I know how old this thing is. Just mark that, so when someone buys it at an auction and drops it off to a guy like me, at a glance, I know if I'm gonna win or not. Yep. Got a key. Hey, we've got a key. That's good. It happens when you turn it, but I imagine, yeah? Ooh. That battery probably is crap. You don't get more than about 4 or 5 years out of a battery anymore. You need some amps. We're back. I'm sure you guys will be seeing these jumper cables a lot. Yeah. Running theme for everything. Okay. Let's try this again. Contact? Okay. We have contact. Turns over. Step 2. Oh, look at that. Oh. You remember from the Jeep that I got out, there's a snake skin and mouse tic tacs. Well, crank's over. There's no fuel in the filter. I can see that. 20 horsepower V-twin K series. Is Kawasaki 0298. Got A little radiator. It's a little empty. It's always good. There's juice in there though. That's good enough. Yeah, these carriage bolts up here are slightly concerned. Oh, there we go. These don't even screw in. At least it's got, so that's oil soaked. Another good sign. I think this might have come from a school or something. Oh, here we go. Daily service required. Oh, would you look at that? This thing has 999 and 0 tenths. Which means, yeah, 1,000. Everything in this list, you need to change all of it. Okay, this bad boy has put in some work. Doesn't mean they didn't leave the key on for a month so that the thing was just ticking away, but I wouldn't guess it had that many. The tires aren't too bad, but hey, maybe it's on some new tires. Okay, we've got this fuel filter. There's nothing in it. And I was told there was a fuel issue, so we're gonna pop off the tank side of that filter and we're gonna hook the boat tank up. Dump some fuel down there. Right in the face. It's got oil. It's even clean. There's no fuel and there's also no clamp. And either someone's been messing with it or it never had one. Wow. Pump ball's getting a little hard to pump. Make sure there's no mothballs in there. Okay, dumped a little fuel down the intake. Let's start there before I hook up tanks and stuff. Contact. Okay. Got a runner. Okay, I'm gonna put a little more down the intake, then we're gonna hook up that filter. The only problem with working on little gas engines in the morning is that you smell like gas all day. Okay, we've got a gravity going. If that carburetor is actually working, this might run. Contact. Contact again. Contact 3 times. Done it now. We don't have the amps, Captain. Ugh. Which makes no sense because we're hooked to a truck. Contact again. Okay. Purrs. Oh. Doesn't purr. Purrs. Let's shut off. All right. Ah, dang it. Stupid. Yeah, you need to be sitting on it for it to run. It's amazing that's still a function. Okay, contact one more time. We are running. Running on its own devices. Everything I work on smells like mouse piss. Did not like that. As soon as I took the choke off, it just died. Sorry. The issue is this is a pumped system, so the fuel is in the back tank and there's a pump somewhere that pumps it up here, fills up the float bowl, and the gravity feed from there to there is not enough to keep that float bowl full. So pumping it up, I got pressure on it, means the float needle's working, the float's full. If you do that, does not like it. Only runs with choke. I'm guessing that carburetor's pretty gummy. This thing is running. We've got no fuel coming out of the hose that goes back to the tank. So somewhere in there, we're not getting fuel. I wonder how hard it is to get to that pump. I wonder where that pump is. Well, next step, see if it moves. Contact, whatever. Well, the deck tried to engage, but that was a bad idea. This thing has tilt steering. I mean, you know, look at that. Let's see if it's charging. Almost out of fuel in that tank. Oh yeah, we got 15 volts. Plenty. Boil that battery right over. Notice we got a flat. Yeah. That thing has saved me so many times. But with that wheel weight on that tire, the valve stem's really tricky to get to. I could just fit my sausages in there to turn that thing on. It's actually holding there though. Explains why it was reluctant to move. Hard to tell with the foliage. Didn't even need the big gun. Now I know everyone craps on Ryobi, but hey, don't be a hypocrite. You go right into Harbor Freight and buy your jack stands, so calm down. I had the predecessor to this, and I liked that one better simply because it just had manual switches. It was a battery with a switch. You want this one on, you turn it, you want that one on. This one has a little screen and a computer, and it's been working so far. But the main reason I love this thing is the chuck. I guess that's a chuck, but what you attach to the valve stem, that's brass. It screws right on there and it's solid. Most of them have that stupid rubber grommet and you put it on there and pull the lever over and cross your fingers and hope it doesn't shoot off, and half the time this doesn't pump enough air to hold that on there, or it leaks so bad that this doesn't pump enough air to fill the tire up past the leak. So that was a great improvement. I love this thing. Like I said, it saved me a bunch of times. Got all your little adapters right here, and then if you have an air mattress, fill it right up. So far this thing has filled up. We're not quite the hundreds of tires that the old one did, but it's getting there. spreader wings. Dual suicides on your John Deere. Alright, next step is, one, if it has fuel in the tank, and if it doesn't, let's put some in, see what happens. If it does have fuel in the tank, we got to figure out where the pump is.
Uh-oh. Definitely a fuel-like substance in there.
And there's definitely a ton of junk. It's not good. It looks kind of rusty. Looks metallic, so let's... Cleanish magnet. Not terrible, but there are some chunks. There's some foul fuel in there. Well, the next step, I gotta follow that fuel line. The original one that's right there, I gotta see where that goes. I figure we should start with the owner's manual. I guess it has an electric fuel pump. This is how helpful John Deere is. The separate fuse, not shown on the wiring harness, is for the fuel pump. Where is it? Ugh. Yeah, let's not put that one with all the other fuses. Gentlemen, I think I've got it. It's an electric fuel pump. There's a sending unit, it's basically a miniature car sending unit in the tank. Pain to get to. Wiring harness is a mess. You look online, you gotta look up serial numbers. If it's below this, the power comes off the PTO takeoff. There's a fuse somewhere in the system. If it's after this serial number, then it comes off of a separate thing and it has a relay and da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, I did the old-fashioned get the air compressor going, put this on the hose, blew it in there, it barely bubbled. I kept giving it little bursts, and all of a sudden you could hear an electric motor spinning, just whirling. So I did that a few times. Now when you turn on the key, gas goes everywhere. So I think we got her. The gas smells terrible, but my guess is the sock and the tank that was in there is absolutely disgusting because this cap was not threaded on here. So guaranteed that made a mess. So we're gonna take the boat tank down, hook this thing up and see if we can get it running on its own devices. It'll start. Of course not. Oh, we got some bright lights. Woo! You know when you hear everyone say, yeah, it runs on lawnmower gas, or look at that. This stuff is brown. Runs on its own devices now. One thing to check, I guess, guys, is if you got a bunch of crap in the tank, I'm assuming there's a sock on the bottom of that, just like a normal sending unit on a vehicle. It's probably completely plugged. And when those plug up, the fuel can't suck anything in, it cavitates itself, it locks up, and it just freezes. Or this thing's been sitting so long that it's an electric motor. Electric motors, when they sit, just even condensation, they rust a little bit, they corrode. Anything that has an electric motor, you should use it kind of routinely just to make sure stuff isn't getting bound up. I got lucky, just blew in there with the air compressor, kept doing it, and eventually the motor started spinning. Hey, cross my fingers, I could have won the lottery today. Instead, this thing starts on its own. So, well, that was worth spending an hour doing. Customer can come get it now. They're gonna strip the whole thing down, full tune-up, paint, get it ready for winter. I'm gonna charge the battery up. Hopefully that works. If not, they can just jump it. And it's a beautiful day, so I should go do something better than